We start out with, I just go briefly on our part 1 on the MI bylaw. One of your friend mentioned about, does this topic, this Companies Act section 8, 9, 172, 174 included in the exam? I would like to say to you, section 8, 9, 172 is just for you to know. 172 tu adalah pasal changes in appointment of auditor. Likewise, you have changes in appointment of auditor ada dalam MI bylaw. Nanti kita akan go through with our slide. So yang I nak stress dalam Companies Act katanya hanya section 174, but not in this topic. It will be discussed in group audit. Understand? Okay. Okay, on the part of MI bylaw we have discussed the other day. Yang section 100 tu, you all macam I would say you all kena hafal ke, you nak buat macam mana, you kena tahu. So all this part yang I discuss kat you last week on, for example, who are approved company auditor. We talk about section 8 approved company auditor. We talk about somebody who is approved by Ministry of Finance to act as auditor. Okay, so auditor must have good character and competent to perform duties under the Companies Act. So this is just for you to know, because you all semua nak jadi. Any of you would like to say to me that one day I would like to have my own audit firm. I got 1 or 2 student yang cakap dengan I awal-awal, kata masih dia diploma lagi dia cakap dengan I would like to open my audit firm. Yes, I have one. I think tak tahulah you all pergi praktikal tak kat Kuzaimi. Halim is my student. So he is Halim, I tak tahu bin apa, tapi section 9 Shah Alam. So jadi dia orang selalu cakap dengan Cik Alim kedekut. I kata no, that is not kedekut. That is your character as an accountant. Am I right? Kau jangan kata dia. You put yourself in the mirror and then you see yourself. You might have certain characteristic of what he has in yourself. Would you like to buy, if I thought ENT 530 kan? Would you like to buy something expensive to yourself? You will have second thought. That is also a characteristic of kedekut, isn't it? Am I right? Of course. Okay. So so I don't know, but basically when we talk about, I have discussed with you, kalau nak jadi auditor, siapa yang kena interview you? Itu cakap dengan you. You want to be an approved auditor. Approved auditor. We talk about approved auditor. Who is approved auditor? So you have to go the process yang I mentioned to you the other day. You have to have your BAc, Bachelor of Accountancy. You have to have your 3 years working experience. And then after that you will only call chartered accountant. After you got your chartered accountant, you have to work few years to get your license, and this is your worst stage of your career, because you need to sit in front of so many people to interview you. One is definitely Ministry of Finance, the other one is Income Tax, LHDN, the other one is MRA, the other one is AG. AG can be 2, yeah? It can be 2, yeah? Auditor General and Accountant General, and the other one is representative from the profession. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 person sitting in front there. You are here just to become an approved auditor. That's why majority of us does not go for that status or does not go to that level. Setakat CA je. And for your information, as of February, berapa bulan Februari itu, only 11% of the UiTM graduate a member of MIA. 11% je. Berapa membership MIA sekarang ni? It's about 32,000. So 11% pada ni je kita ada. So actually UiTM produce the highest the highest number of graduates in accountancy, but only 11%. This is the data given by our dean on Friday last week. Last Friday last week when we had an academic meeting. So sikit sangat lah. So my advice to you, once you complete your 3 years, your articleship, please apply. I tak suruh you pergi LA, I suruh you pergi CA tu, nampak tu? Ni je cukup lah, CA tu. Kenapa? Recognition satu. Kedua, kalau you, kan government kata dia nak berapa? By year 2020, dia nak berapa accountant? Tak ingat dah. 60k. Sekarang ni baru ada 32. Sampai ke? We still have 4 years to fill in 28,000. So you are the one in this statistic. please do so. Okay? Tun M, because we need 60,000 accountant. We are not doctors and pharmacists and budak-budak SPM grad. They just got their result kan. So some of them tanya, can I apply pharmacy because doctors dah penuh, dentist dah penuh. Frankly speaking, the whole trade profession is already saturated. Maknanya there's no post. Bukan, it's not a matter that we don't, there is oversupply of doctors. But you all graduate, kalau you tak memilih, memang ada kerja je. Ni in this time of recessions, economic slowdown, quite a number of your friends ask me, Puan, should I pursue my study or should I go into working life? My first question is, I ask them, which organisation that you get? Some say they got contract work. I said, go and work first and get your experience, because your experience is very valuable for you to get that CA. Your study, if you don't get your job, then pursue lah. Okay? Buat nangis dalam WhatsApp. Please help me. Okay, so understand this one, to be MIA member. That is my request to you to fulfill the statistic of 60k by 2020. Hopefully lah. Okay, partnership, this doesn't matter, we have discussed. Okay, next, we go straight into section 174. I dah discuss dengan you duties kan. I just want to mention to you, dalam issue ingat duties of auditors, ingat dua je. First, on accounts. Maknanya, as an auditor, you need to report to members or shareholders on the accounts of the company. Satu je. Dua, to express an opinion whether financial instrument shows to unfair. You ingat dua tu biasanya I minta 3 markah je. Okay, especially not audit risk and MIA by law. This topic is one of the most key topics in 21 marks actually. 21 markah. Memang dah siap. Okay, next. That is your main duties. Duties, report to members, express an opinion. Keyword, true and fair. Okay. Okay, next. We talk about all this. You nak kata, this is all sub-duties. Your prime duties tu sahaja, 2 sahaja. Report to members on the account of the client and to express an opinion. All these duties are supply ataupun we call it secondary duties. Okay. Main duties, macam soalan exam. Bila I tanya, I tak tahu student-student ni. Jadi, you all kasih jawapan lain. Tapi I tak boleh nak kata salah. Macam final exam baru ni. Give 2 main type of test data. 2 type of CAT. 2 main type. Dah tulis itu 2 main type of CAT. Most of you jawab all the yang secondary-nya types. So, nak kata salah, memang patut salah lah. Tapi, as a lecturer, benda tu is also type of test data. 2 main test data, 2 type of CAT is test data dengan audit software. Makna test data and audit software tu 2 type yang besar. Bawah tu bawah banyak-banyak. Tapi you all jawab yang banyak-banyak bawah tu ke atas. Jadi nak kasih kosong tak boleh. So bagilah kalau satu toet belakang setengah lah. Okay? Just to remind you. Because read the question carefully. I tak kata type of CAT. I ask the question 2 main types. 2 main. Jadi kalau tanya duties of auditor, 2 main duties of auditor, you have to mention report on accounts and expression of opinion. Other duties yang ni is supplementary ataupun secondary. Kalau dia kata 2 main. Kalau dia kata state 4, barulah cerita ini 4. 2 atas dan ambil mana-mana 2 bawah. Understand? Because most question on duties, I minta 4. Okay, next. Power. What's the power of auditor? We talk about ataupun rights. Of course, you have access to all times on books and record. Right to get information. Puan, kalau I masuk kata right to attend meeting, I still give her. Betul. Right to attend meeting, right to be represented ataupun right to access all to get information is up to you. But any 4 duties. Okay, next. We straight go to MIA bylaw. Okay, done on that. Okay, I have mentioned to you the current bylaw is amended of 9 July 2015. Yesterday I had a meeting with my team of teaching lecturers. Most of them are not aware on some of the amendments. So I just highlight to you, semua sama kecuali yang I cakap dengan you kat sini saja. Okay. Ada satu lagi tertinggal, conflict of interest. It's like number at conflict resolution. Never mind, we go off later. Okay. I have mentioned to you fundamental principle. Okay, ingat dah fundamental principle. Can some of you mention to me what are the 5 fundamental principle? Number 1, integrity. Number 2, tak ingat belum buka lagi ni. Objectivity. Number 3, professional behavior. Number 4, confidentiality. Number 5, professional competence and you care. 5 ni wajib tahu. It means all these 5 fundamental principles will be tested somehow or other. You need to answer it in your, you need to include some, especially objectivity. It is always included in the questions. Okay. Okay, next. Cuma last semester je I tak masukkan dalam tu, tapi I tanya soalan kat lain. Okay, so you have fundamental principle 5. So we go straight into the fundamental principle, that is integrity. Okay, principle of integrity impose an obligation on all professional accountants to be straightforward. Keyword dia straightforward and honest. Itu yang nak. Janganlah jawab integrity mean integrity. Itu yang answering for the sake of answering. Okay, so a professional accountant shall not knowingly be associated with report, written, communications or other information where the professional accountant believe that the information is contained false or misleading statement. Ini kau buat tak masa praktikal. I tak nak bayar tax banyak, so create document. Betul kan? Create document sebab tak nak bayar cukai. Tu dah tak ada integrity. Wah. Betul kan yang awak kan? Kan klien cakap tak nak bayar tax banyak. So in this situation I don't want to pay tax a lot. So could you please work backward? Kita work pada atas kan, kita work pada bawah. So dia nak bayar tax berapa? Dia kata dia nak bayar tax 500 je. Korang pun naik atas. So creation of documentation, false information. Okay, so that violate integrity. Tapi macam mana nak jawab dengan Allah? Jawapannya, saya bayar zakat, benda tu betul, tapi tax tak nak. Sebab tax money is not being used, but not being used in accordance to what you want. So basically, you pay zakat. That's why I always mention to my student, pay zakat, no cheating. Integrity number 1, MIA by law. Okay? Tax, I don't know. That one, I know you are doing a creative accounting. I call it creative accounting. Or in other terms, earnings management. Okay? Okay, next. But we talked to Cik Nik Hasyuddin last semester. I think Pak Hafiz kan? Hafiz ke Faiz nama you? Faiz. Faris kan? Faris, I think tak talk Cik Nik Hasyuddin last semester. Dia kata dia tahu most accounting firm memang buat isu ni. Maknanya creative accounting tu memang dibuat. They are doing the creative accounting. But that's what tu dia ada masukkan sekarang ni, ada satu clause violation of some of the section in the MIA by law. Dia masukkan 9 Julai ni. Benda tu dia memang dia orang tahu. So dia kata enforcement berperingkat MIA dan audit oversight board ni, kita tak boleh lah nak harapkan. We have, in our profession, we have 2 body yang regulate our profession. That is MIA and audit oversight board. Audit oversight board ni untuk only PIE company. PIE, tahu PIE? Bukan pie yang you makan tu. When we talk about audit oversight board ni is been set up by Security Commission to enforce the regulations on PIE. PIE is public interest entity. So dia tak go on you punya company, I punya company ataupun siapa-siapa punya company kat sini. MIA regulate the professions of auditors yang audit all other companies. But audit oversight board, dia fokus dengan auditor yang engaged by PIE. Bukan you punya company, Amir punya company ataupun I punya company. No. We are auditor of this non-PIE company will be monitored or will be supervised or will be I would say monitor lah by MIA. MIA je. Mana ada orang MIA? You pergi office MIA tu, you pergi buka kat department practice review. Berapa orang staff dia? 2 je. Head department ni dengan seorang kot tak silap. So macam ni dia nak regulate. How many audit firm yang ada kat Malaysia sekarang ni? Tak sure. I dah bagi figure buat auditors ada lebih kurang 3, chartered accountant ada lebih kurang 32,000, 33,000. Licensed accountant berapa orang? Audit firm ada berapa kat Malaysia ni? Buka MIA ni website, dia akan list you berapa ada licensed accountant, berapa audit firm ada kat Malaysia ni. And just take note. So I can give you the figure, but I want you to go to MIA website, familiarize yourself with the MIA. Okay, next. So the next one is we talk about objectivity. Tu tak payahlah, kau dah pandai lah. You are objective, it means you are able to maintain your unbiased attitude. Okay, keyword in objectivity is always, we talk about objectivity, is always the issue of bias, conflict of interest, or undue influence of others. These are the keyword. Bias. So it means when you say you're objective, you mean you're not biased. Okay, next. We talk about confidentiality. Confidentiality, I nak dalam last semester, bila I buat soalan ni dalam exam, budak-budak ni, dia sejak explain, auditors are not allowed to disclose information to third parties. Markah dia 2. So, you dapatlah 1 markah. You kena tambah. Unless the information is required by the law, by the court, or permission from client. Tambah hujung tu, baru dapat 1. So, jangan tanya, kenapa tak dapat A dan kenapa tak dapat B. Understand? So, maknanya jawapan you tu tak cukup. Confidentiality memanglah not to disclose information of your client to third parties. Tu jawapan tu betul. Tapi tak sambung bawah dia. Sebab markah dia 2. Jadi dapatlah 1 kat atas. 1 mark. So you lose mark easily in audit. So you continue. Information can be disclosed to party with consent from the client. 1. 2. Required by the law. 3. By court. 3 situation je. Tapi kau orang tahu benda tu. Tak tulis. Sebab tu dalam audit, I think ada PLK bawah ni ada berapa orang yang buat sub paper. Ada my student part time. So one of the student tak habis jawab. Macam mana nak tolong kalau tak habis jawab? Okay. Sama juga dengan ada seorang student, your senior yang buat sub paper I baru kasih markah semalam. Dia dapat C+. Nak naik grade sebab dia punya result 2.99. Okay. So lecturer dia bila I tengok markah dia ialah, tekalah berapa markah budak tu, C+. I tengok pun sedih. Markah dia 59.11 je. Kalau dia student saya dah letak dah 60. Tapi sebab lecturer accounting ni, you tahu kan, accounting points count. Understand? Sebab I ada semi accounting sikit lah. Sebab my area is Islamic finance and accounting. Okay, so ada kat finance kat situ. So bila student 59.11 tu memang tutup mata. And bila I tengok list student dia, tu budak tu appeal. I tak nak cakap lecturer tu, is my team. So 59.11. Ada seorang tu 64.3. Zalimnya lecturer tu, I kata. Nanti I kena jumpa dia. Semalam I dah caution seorang lecturer, my team, I kata dengan dia, please before ataupun lepas exam audit, make sure assessment mark masih ada. Sebab student dia ada 5 group last semester complain. So tak boleh lah. You have the right as a student. Puan, I need my assessment mark. Ni sampai habis exam tak ada. So you must take note on that lah. Okay, so now you have to know in answering questions, you must give complete. Kalau objectivity, kalau confidentiality kena, kalau kata integrity objectivity kan, you akan kata Puan able to maintain unbiased attitude. You kena sambung. What do you mean by unbiased attitude? What do you mean by unbiased attitude? You are not easily influenced by others in giving your judgment or opinion. Tambah je lah. I don't ask you to memorize. Audit 610 is not memorizing. It's not memorizing. It is understanding. You mula-mula tu memorize lah. Lepas tu you boleh sambung cerita. Sebab tu you will be practical. Okay, next. We talk about professional behaviour. Confidentiality done ya. Ke professional competence dulu. Professional behaviour. We talk about professional behaviour pun ada 2 isu kat sini. Pertama, the accountants, the auditors are required to Okay, what does it mention? It means you have to comply. Dia kata keyword dia comply with relevant law and regulation. Okay, that is your keyword. What is the next one? You must not put yourself in something that might affect the good reputation of the profession. Itu dua benda yang I nak dalam definition professional behaviour. Nampak tak? It means you have to comply with rules and regulation or whatever bylaws, and at the same time you must not put yourself that might discredit the profession. Discredit the profession ataupun affect the good reputation of the profession. Itu dua tu. Lepas tu jawab kat atas tu saja. Satu, maka hilang satu lagi. Itu berlaku dalam exam. Okay, next. Professional competence and due care. Professional competence and due care tertinggal dia. Okay. Okay, now we go into part 2. Done ya, part 1. Any question on fundamental principle? We are going into threats and conceptual framework. Conceptual framework approach. Okay, we go conceptual framework approach ni apa benda alahnya? I bila tanya soalan ni kat student, they don't really understand on this. Okay, we go into one by one. Okay, in the case of conceptual framework approach, professional accountants may create specific threat to compliance with fundamental principle. You have threats, yeah? The issue is now, is it impossible to define every situation that create a threat to compliance with the fundamental principle and specify the appropriate action? Okay, so now the bylaw establish a conceptual framework that requires accountant to identify. Okay, the conceptual framework is whereby require the professional accountant to identify, evaluate and address to compliance with the fundamental principle. That is conceptual framework. Okay, so now we go into slide number 2, part 2 ya. Okay, never mind, threats. We talk about threats when a relationship, okay, slide number 1 ya, betul. When a relationship or circumstances create threats such as threat could compromise or perceived to compromise a professional accountant's compliance with the fundamental principle. Okay, so now dia kata there are circumstances might create ataupun situation that you might compromise certain bylaws ataupun I would say almost all bylaws that you might compromise. Okay, there are situations, so threat fall into 5 or 6 if I'm mistaken. Right now I have listed up 5, 6 actually. Yeah, 5. We have self-interest, self-review, we have advocacy, familiarity, and intimidation. 5. So we talk about first self-interest threat. What do you mean by self-interest threat? Okay, self-interest threat dia define kat sini as 1. The threat that financial or other interests will inappropriately influence the professional accountant judgment or behaviour. It means when we talk self-interest threat, it always relates to financial interest or other interest. Self-interest. Contohnya, self-interest threat. Example, okay, you are my daughter. Okay, you are my daughter, and then you buy shares in the client company. I'm the auditor. Okay, so will that create self-interest threat or not? Because I have a close relationship with my daughter. My daughter is a shareholder with that. So through indirect, that might create self-interest. But usually dalam case I selalu kasih the auditor themselves having shares in the client company. Contohnya, I auditor, I ada share dengan Samdabi, at the same time I audit Samdabi. Boleh? I from PwC. Dia ada 2 senario. I nak stress kat sini ya. Dia ada 2 senario. Self-interest threat, pertama kita tengok materiality, sama ada owning of shares you tu influence your objectivity or not. Materiality maknanya how big is your ownership. Can you influence the decision of that company? 1. 2, whether you are in the sensitive area position. Maknanya your position sekarang ni involved directly dengan finance ke tak? Okay, issue this dulu. Pertama, kalau masa kata you buy shares company tu, you have only 1 lot, that is 1,000 unit, or half lot, 500 unit. Will that influence? You can argue. Some say yes, it might affect because you have the vote. But your 1 vote might not affect any decision of the company. So your objective might not be impaired. But rule of thumb, ada share je, violate by law. Understand? So it creates self-interest threat. Whether 1 lots ke, 2 lots ke, 10 lots ke, it doesn't matter. That is the rule. But then some of my students would like to say, Puan, that 1 lot does not actually influence the decision. I kata no. Yes, I agree with you, but in big companies, yes, but in small companies, you do influence because you have the voting rights. That your vote might influence certain things. Okay, 1. 2, you duduk kat mana? Katakan you auditor katakan anak I kan. Anak I kerja dekat company yang I audit. Okay. If she works in finance department, so definitely I ada relationship dengan dia. If she works in human resource, well that create self-interest sebab dia anak I. Close relationship, ada interest I dengan dia. Dia anak I kerja dengan klien. Pertama, pasal isu duit. Kedua, pasal isu close relationship. Bukan isu familiarity. Ini isu dia kerja kat department tu. So, isu dia, siapa nama dia? Haifa? Sharifah kerja katakan human resource. And I'm the auditor. I'm not dealing with her, isn't it? So, isu dia sekarang bukan isu familiarity threat dia. Self-interested pun ada sebab my interest is my daughter is working with the client. So, I will have some kind of relationship with the client. Shares? Definitely yes. Maknanya if I have shares in that client, kata she is working with some W human resource, that is not, department tu kita tak panggil, kita panggil non-sensitive area for audit. Kita tak discuss dengan human resource kan. So kita akan cakap, okay, never mind because that is non-sensitive area. Point that I want you to know is that bila kita kata relationship tu, kita kena tahu sama ada orang tu kerja dekat finance atau tak. Okay, next. We have self-interested, finance or other interest. Maknanya interest tadi because anak I bekerja dekat client. Number 2. Apa dia self-review threat? Siapa kawan sebelah Amir ni? Ha? Halim? Alif. Okey, Alif. Agak-agak self-review threat tu apa benda ni? Okey, cuba you baca kat situ apa dia self-review. You read the definition of self-review threat. Please read. Alif baca. Just read the question.
Professional accountant will not appropriately review the result of a previous judgment made by the professional accountant.
Okay, enough. Okay, what do you understand by here? It means kata Alif baca the threat that professional will not appropriately evaluate the result of previous judgment. Okay, can you give me your previous judgment apa that you made? Okay, Alif is an doing a practical with katakan KHR. Okay, what happened? Kata Alif buat accounts, at the same time you buat audit. Maknanya previous judgment you ialah you are preparing the account, isn't it? Can you evaluate back your work? Now you're auditing. You're doing audit. Maknanya Alif is doing accounting services and they are doing second task iaitu audit. Betul tak kau orang buat masa praktikal? Am I right? You're doing that 2 tasks. Accounting, buat account, lepas tu audit kan? Jadi can you evaluate your previous judgment? Boleh? You tengok balik kerja you, mesti tak jumpa mistake-nya. You nak tengok mistake kerja you, minta maaf lah. That's why kita minta orang lain tengok kerja kita kan. So, bila you buat kerja accounting and audit, akan create self-review threat. Faham? So, selama ni kau orang pergi praktikal, banyaknya violate. I cakap dengan Cik Nik Haizudin. I did ask Cik Nik Haizudin, Chairman of Audit Oversight Board. Cik Nik, what is the action of the regulatory on this issue? Dia kata, we know it's happening. That's why we amend some of the laws. But the problem is in our country, enforcement is always a problem. Because lack of staff. Macam kalau you buka MIA, sebab bila nak enforce ni, nanti kita akan masuk practice review kan, peer review. Nanti akan discuss with you later. Okay, faham ya self review Alif? Okay, next. Can somebody read to me advocacy threat? Advocacy threat ni very interesting. Can I have sebelah Alif siapa? Tok Wei lah. Okay, Tok Wei. Tok Wei, cuba baca. Apa dia advocacy threat? Nak dengar slang Kelantan Tok Wei. Okay. Cepatlah Tok Wei baca. Okay. So mention that the threat that professional accountant will promote client or employee position to the point that the professional accountant objectivity is compromised. What do you mean by this? Maknanya, you all kerja dengan audit firm. Okay, you are the audit firm. And your client mungkin ada buat software accounting ke, audit express ke. So you kata dengan client, okay, I can promote your software to my other client. So that is advocacy threat. I ulang balik ya. Alif adalah klien I. Tok Wei klien I. Sharifah klien I. 3 klien ya. I have 3 klien right now. So now Sharifah create ataupun develop a software for preparing accounts. Maknanya accounting software lah, accounting package. So Sharifah kata, approach me, I'm the auditor because I banyak klien. Why don't you sell my software ni to other of your client because it makes your work easy. So I kata okay. So in that case, I jatuh pada advocacy threat. Mana I advocating my client to promote my client product. Faham? Sharifah kan buat accounting software ni. So dia kata I am the auditor and I have clients yang banyak kan. So client I ramai. So I akan kata, Sharifah cakap dengan I, why don't you promote my software to Tok Wei, Sdn Bhd, Alif Venture Berhad. So that is much easier for me as auditor to perform the task. So I pun agree dengan Sharifah, but you give me a commission lah. Biasanya mesti ada commission kan. So it means I am advocating my client to others. Maknanya my client lain, I kata okay, can you buy this software so that my audit can be done in shorter period. So Sharifahnya software, I promote lah. Promoting Sharifahnya software tadi create advocacy threat. Faham?
Sharifah ni klien juga.
Dia klien juga. Mana I ada 3 klien. Ada ramai. You all ni semua klien I lah. Tapi dia develop software accounting. Dia seorang je sekarang ni. Yang lain tu tak ada software kan. So yang lain tu I buat manual audit lah. So what happen now, she creating a accounting software and a few software that make my work easier as an auditor. So what happen now, I kata I agree lah because it will make easier for me to audit my client. So she said, why don't you sell this to other clients? So I am promoting her, and that promoting, she's also my client. Kalau dia tak client, tak apa. It creates advocacy threat. Maknanya ada relationship lah. Sekarang ni kita dah ada business relationship. I dengan dia dah ada business. Bila ada je business relationship, apa dia tak payah apa? Tak boleh. Rugi lah. Tak boleh because sebab dia klien. Kalau dia bukan klien, tak ada relationship klien auditor, mungkin benda tu boleh. Tak ada masuk bab advocacy. Faham? Sharifah ni bukan klien. She's not my client. Kenapa jadi isu macam tu? Sebab she will pay me commission. At the same time, mungkin I akan kasih certain I will not be independent in auditing her company. Am I right? Mungkin dia tak bayar audit fees kat kita ke, ataupun mungkin I akan ada close relationship dengan dia. Bila dah jadi client relationship, sekarang dah jadi business relationship. So create advocacy. Faham? And this part ni, advocacy threat ni, ramai student tak faham macam mana nak explain. Sebenarnya nak explain senang je. I auditor promote client I yang buat some software untuk memudahkan kerja I, ataupun I nak dapat commission daripada tu. Jadi maknanya I want to generate more income, and you pun nak market your product. So since I have a bigger client base, so you approach me, why don't you help me sell my product? We have 50% profit ke? Itu mungkin discussion kemudian, tapi isu dia relationship tu. Relationship, promoting the client. Isu dia advocacy ni, kita promote client kita. Kita tak boleh ada relationship macam tu dengan client. Faham? Okay, next. Familiarity threat. Familiarity threat ni tak close relationship. Keyword dia tu long or close relationship. Contohnya, siapa nama ni? Depan Alif ni? Fokus. Hafizi ke Hafiz? You, I nak tahu you. Hafizi. Okay, Hafizi kata I dah jadi auditor dengan dia more than 5 years. Boleh ke kat Malaysia jadi auditor lebih daripada 5 tahun? Okay, according to by law, kalau di US bawah SOX, Sarbanes-Oxley Act. Pernah dengar SOX? Bukan token. Okay, SOX. And auditor tak boleh audit company more than 5 years. Lebih pada 5 tahun, you kena resign. Tukar auditor. Kat US. Kat Malaysia tak. Kita kena tukar manager atau partner in charge of the client. Tukar saja. Firm boleh. Maknanya kalau masa kata Hafizi kerja dengan PwC, you dah audit company I for the last 6 years. You tak boleh, tahun yang ke-6 tu, you tak boleh jadi auditor in charge of my company. PwC masih boleh jadi, tapi kena tukar orang lain. Itu mungkin masuk soalan tu dalam exam, ya? Highlight tu. Jadi jangan tanya I puan masuk tak? Mungkin masuk soalan tu. Okay, isu dia boleh tak? Tak boleh. Di Malaysia, firm tu boleh jadi auditor walaupun dah lebih 5 tahun. Cuma kena ada rotation. Keyword dia, rotation of partners or staff in charge to audit. Understand? Tu keynote tu. Keynote tu penting lah tu sebab I dah masukkan dalam satu case dalam final exam. Macam mana soalan dia tak tahulah, ya? Okay. Got it? So, bila dekat exam puan, tips ada? No tips. Okay? So, it means you must take note. Kalau US, 5 tahun, tak boleh dah. Haram lah kiranya kan? Malaysia tak boleh lagi. Cuma kena tukar rotation of partners or rotation on staff in charge for that client. 5 years je. Dia punya period, I selalu cakap dengan student I, kalau nak ingat, edah dia je 5 tahun. Sebab kalau sebut perkataan lain, kau susah kan? Edah tu mesti kau ingat. Puan Shan cakap pasal cerai ke? Tak. Sebab we want to catch some words that might be catchy for you to remember. Okay, next, familiarity. So dalam kes ni, kalau you ada relationship lebih daripada 5 tahun tu, of course ada familiarity threat. Walaupun kadang-kadang you ada 3 tahun, I dengan Sharifah dah very close sebab dah jadi auditor, familiarity threat. Apa berlaku bila ada familiarity threat? Jadi kita jadi macam complacent. Complacent maknanya we might sacrifice so many things. Okay, this one tak payah audit sebab dah biasa dah kan? Dah terlalu biasa jadi tak payah, ni tak payah, tu tak payah, tu tak payah. So jadi isu tu akan create familiarity threat. Ataupun dia kata close relationship, long or close relationship. Walaupun tak lama tapi I dengan dia close. Kita orang selalu pergi makan sama. Boleh ke pergi makan sama auditor dengan klien? Korang pergi, masa korang pergi praktikal lah, kan makan sama dengan klien kan? Hari-hari pergi makan sama. Dia bagi makan? Lagi tak boleh. Boleh ke? Okay. Occasionally, yes. But if it's too frequent, you create familiarity threat. Maknanya you oblige dengan dia. Hari-hari dia belanja you makan. Boleh ke? Tak boleh. Tak boleh. You kena avoid benda tu. Nanti you akan ada relationship macam tu. You jangan, ini tak payahlah check. Ni. Bahagian ni kan kau omitted sikit lah sebab ada benda yang kita orang tak habis check lah. So, you oblige tak nak fulfill because of the relationship. Memanglah sekarang tak. Tapi ya. Kan bila kita dah close sangat, kita jadi oblige. Okay, understand? So, isu pertama, long relationship. Maknanya lebih pada 5 tahun. Cut off point dia, 5 years. Lagi satu, tak sampai 5 tahun. Tapi kita baru 2 tahun 2 kenal dengan dia. 2 tahun lah kenal dengan dia. Dah close dah. Dah pergi makan hari-hari. Sebab kita kan audit tiap-tiap tahun dia. Okay, hari ni kita makan kat mana? Habis lah. Lepas tu pergilah holiday sama lagi. Okay, in Malaysia, life kita accountant taklah teruk sangat macam judges. Judges are not allowed to mix with public. Life as a judge is so broad. So, kita accountant adalah limitation dia, tapi kita boleh pergi makan tapi not frequent. Occasionally, yes. So that create familiarity threat. Understand? Okay, ingat tak masa you 390? Masa you buat audit 390, you kata independent in fact, independent appearance. Kalau orang tengok you makan hari-hari dengan klien, apa orang kata? Sure dia tak independent. Sebab apa? Sebab hari-hari dia jalan sama. That is independent in appearance. Not independence. Faham? Macam orang tengok you jalan sama, pergi sana sini sama auditor dengan klien, habis lah. That can be questions, okay? And kalau kita practice review datang, habis audit firm dah. Practice review maknanya a team appointed by MIA, a team appointed by MIA, kita akan go through that topic later, appointed by MIA to audit the audit firm. Okay, last semester keluar soalan ni ke sub paper baru ni keluar soalan ni? Budak-budak ni kasih jawapan misstatement. Mana ada misstatement? Practice review maknanya practice review on the practice. Peer review on the peers. Maknanya auditors been audited. Kalau practice, audit firm been audited. Okay, next. Last part.
Yang tadi yang kata kan.
Hmm.
Yang tu family track juga. Track.
Apa dia?
Yang lebih daripada 5 tahun.
Ah,
Yang tu family track juga.
family tree threat. Okay, long association. Okay, next we talk about intimidation threat. Okay, ini memang biasa berlaku. The threat that professional accountant will be deterred from acting objectively because of actual or perceived apa? Ke I sambung tak ni perceive ni? Takut I tak sambung. Tu I tak sambung. Mesti tertinggal yang benda ni. Ada agak lah. Okay, likewise, perceived threat. Okay, so when we talk about intimidation threat ni, okay, siapa nama kawan kita kat belah sini? Siang kawan kita sunyi, I nak tanya pula. Siapa nama? Akmal. Akmal agak intimidation threat ni macam mana? Intimidate. Intimidate means an auditor will be intimidated by client. Contohnya, I want to pay tax this much. I want you to work backward. If you tak buat benda tu, I won't pay your audit fees. So that is intimidation. Maknanya intimidation tu, you tak buat seperti yang arahkan, I tak bayar you audit fees. Tu intimidation lah. Ugutan lah. Intimidate tu ugutan. So in this situation, ataupun dia kata, I expect you to complete work within 2 weeks because we need the report. If you don't complete, I won't pay your audit fees. One. Or if you don't complete your work within the time that I requested, I might not appoint you for next financial year. That is intimidation. Okay? Faham? So ada yang you all selalu confuse advocacy, intimidation ni yang orang kau ingat. Familiarity yang paling kau ingat sangat. Okay? Okay, next. So try faham ya 5-5 ni? Okay, dalam soalan exam biasanya I akan tanya you. Okay, I give you a questions. You ada buat pasir tak? Next class tutorial buat pasir ya. Biasanya kalau dalam soalan sekejap ya, I ada tak pasir saya masuk sini. Okay, I give example. Katakan Puan No is an auditor. Okay, I give you example. Puan No is the auditor. And dia ada anak dia kerja kat klien, satu. Kedua, dia dah jadi auditor dekat client place tu for more than, I tak nak ambil lama tau. Puan No, katakan 3 years. So anak dia ada kat situ, kat klien tu. Dan yang kedua, dia dah jadi auditor kat klien tu for 3 years. So isu dia sekarang, kalau dia kata threat, ialah familiarity threat, familiar sebab anak dia di situ, dan juga self-interest threat pun boleh masuk. Lepas tu apa isu kat situ dalam MIA by law fundamental principle? Objectivity. So dalam menjawab situ, No has a daughter working at the client place. Okay, working at the client place. And at the same time, she has been the auditor for that client for 3 years. This is her 3rd year. So I just give you one line. So what is the issue arise, ethical issue arise in that situation? Apa ethical issue arise dalam kes Puan No ni? Dalam isu pertama, isu dia familiarity threat, close relationship dengan anak dia. Yang kedua, boleh nak masuk self-interest. Self-interest bukan setakat isu shares lah, tapi you ada kepentingan anak you kerja kat situ. Dan yang ketiga, apa MIA by law atau fundamental principle affected in this story ataupun in this issue? Objectivity. Anak you ada situ, boleh you objektif? Tak, you will not be. So dalam soalan macam tu, walaupun line dia satu je isu, you akan ada 3 markah kat situ. Jadi kadang-kadang korang tulis 2 je, ataupun korang tulis 1 je. Objectivity affected because her daughter is working with the client. Dapatlah 1 markah. Gone 2 marks. So that's how you lose mark in audit. Kenapa saya tak dapat A puan? Sebab tu lah. Kenapa saya dapat B? Saya expect my audit should be A. Okay, next. Faham ya kasih case Puan No tadi? Understand ya? Okay, conflict of interest. Conflict of interest ni apa? Okay, we talk about conflict of interest. A professional accountant may face with a conflict of interest. Dia kata, conflict of interest when undertaking a professional activity. Dalam kes Puan No tadi, anak dia ada kat situ. I tak masuk lagi conflict of interest. Sebenarnya, I boleh tambah lagi satu. Puan No dengan anak dia tadi kerja kat klien. Pertama, isu objectivity. Kedua, isu familiarity threat. You kalau misalnya kata you tak nak masukkan self-interest threat boleh. Tapi, you masukkan familiarity is sufficient enough. And another issue yang akan arise is conflict of interest. Betul tak you ada anak kat situ, you akan ada conflict of interest. Kenapa conflict of interest? You nak bagi report tak bagus, anak you kerja situ. So create conflict of interest whereby conflict of interest creates a threat to objectivity. Bila ada sebut objectivity, tolong masukkan conflict of interest. Sebab markah tu selari. Dia kata objectivity will be affected. Puan Nur, objectivity will be affected because her daughter is working with the client. Objectivity affected kan? At the same time, she will experience ataupun she will have conflict of interest. Why? Her daughter is in the client. So ada dua ya. Kalau you jawab objectivity, mesti ada conflict of interest dalam isu tu. Sebab you tak boleh objektif. Kenapa? Sebab ada something behind isu dia. Jadi kadang-kadang dalam student dalam exam dia tak jawab objectivity tau. Dia jawab conflict of interest. Dapat markah. I give full marks. Tapi kalau you cerita objectivity tu, kadang-kadang markah yang lain tu tak dapat, I will add up another half marks. Maknanya you are able to understand the scenario of the ethical issues. Okay. Okay, next. So dia kata kat sini, the accountant should undertake a professional activity related to a particular matter for two or more parties whose interests with respect to that matter are in conflict. Case tadi, Puan Nur dengan anak dia. The interest of the professional accountant with respect to a particular matters or interest, okay, with respect to particular matters or interest of a party for whom the professional accountant undertakes a professional activity related to the matters are in conflict. Okay, usually dalam case I nak highlight again, dalam conflict of interest mesti ada relation dengan objectivity. Mesti ada relation dengan objectivity. Okay. Okay, next. Apa lagi? Ada banyak lagi ni. Okay, this is topik I masukkan untuk this SEM. Bukan, I tak tanya lah you, tapi this SEM, tapi benda ni ada, kena inform you lah. Betul tak ya? Ethical conflict resolution. Apa berlaku if you have ethical conflict? What happen if you have ethical conflict masa you play a role ataupun when you are auditing a client? Okay, a professional accountant dalam ethical conflict resolution talk about may be required to resolve a conflict in complying with the fundamental principle. Okay, a professional accountant may be required to resolve conflict in complying with the fundamental principle you yang 5 tu. Kalau ada apa-apa konflik kat situ, you have to solve accordingly. When initiating either formal or informal conflict resolution process, the following factor must be taken into consideration. First, what are the facts? Kenapa berlaku ethical conflict resolution ni? Kedua, ethical issue apa isu dia tadi? No dengan anak dia. Okay. And then fundamental principle related to the matter in question. In this case is objectivity. Okay. Kita tahu conflict of interest dah, tapi kita tengok, that's why cakap fundamental principle tu wajib tahu. Wajib tahu. Memang kena tahu semua. Sebab benda tu akan relate balik semua. And you need to establish international procedures nak overcome those ethical conflict resolution ni. And alternative courses of action. This is just for you to know. I tak akan test you benda ni because benda ni dia berbalik-balik pada fundamental principle. Okay, next. Okay, communicating with those charged with governance. Alah, benda ni memang ada dalam exam, dalam test masuk, exam masuk. Test you pun 8 markah will be tested. Dalam exam, markah dia tak silap saya, apa saya kasih ya? 6 ke 8. Topik ni of importance. Sebenarnya, communication with those charged with governance adalah bawah ISA 260. Ni, topik ni. Dia dah masuk dalam bylaw ni. 100.35 tadi, I padamkan kan. Dia ada dalam ISA 260. I pun tak tahu kenapa MIA bylaw masukkan benda ni dalam satu section of bylaw. Kalau I tengok implementation ni Julai 2015, maknanya selepas kes 1MDB. Governance issue lah. So, issue governance is of importance in most organisation because kita accountant kan, and auditor, we need to look into this matter from so many perspective. From first, daripada MIA bylaw. MIA bylaw memang kita kena, I would say MIA bylaw ni kalau masa kata standard tu mungkinlah kita macam, memang kita kena comply. Tapi bylaw ni, sebab yang oversee kita punya complying with this is MIA. Jadi, ini dah ada dalam bylaw, dah ada juga dalam ISA 260. So we talk about you accountant, if you have problems, Issue dia sekarang, dia nak highlight kat you, if you have problem in doing your audit, you need to communicate with all those charged with governance so that they are adequately informed. Nampak ni? Kalau you ada problem masa audit on issue governance, you need to communicate with all those charged with governance so that they are adequately informed. Ada dua matters kat itu. Maknanya you mesti beritahu dia orang. Siapa orang-orang tu? Who are those charged in governance? Those in charge of governance siapa? Management. Of course lah directors kan? Management, directors. You need shareholders. So these people need to be informed of the problem in the organisation. Kata ada issue governance. Ulang balik. Definition governance tu apa? Lupalah Puan Syam, CRG tu dah belajar. Apa governance? What is governance? Keyword dia is a process should implemented by organisation to achieve apa? Effectiveness and efficiency. Keyword dia, it must be a process that need to be implemented by an organisation so that they achieve effectiveness and efficiency. Maknanya very general term. Governance maknanya benda, sesuatu proses yang mesti dibuat oleh organisasi supaya organisasi itu berjalan dengan efektif dan efisien. Itu je keyword dia. Jadi sekarang ni kalau you nampak ada fraud tu maknanya company tu akan tak efficiently run lah kan? Ataupun ada problem dalam financial statement dia. You need to communicate to those people. Siapa? Directors, management, regulators. Maknanya we have to talk to stakeholder lah. Basically we need to talk to stakeholder. Most stakeholders are those charged in government. Tapi kita as auditor, kita tak boleh cakap kat orang luar. Kita kena cakap kat directors dulu, kat shareholders dulu, kat management dulu. Maknanya these three parties must be informed of the problem that you, katakan you audit, you jumpa ada isu CFO. CFO apa? CFO siphon off some money. Okay? CFO siphon off some money. Banyak kes dalam pecah amanah. Ya? Ataupun case of misappropriation of fund in organisation is being conducted by CFO. Biasalah. Siapa CFO? Kita lah. Betul ke? Korang CFO? 80% of CFO in organisation are accounting graduates. Dia mesti ada ujung dia A. ACCA, MICPA, CIMA. Ada CFO yang tak ada ujung dia A. Ada MBA pun ada A kan? So likewise, most of these, or I would say 80% or 90% of CFO are accounting graduates. Accounting graduate bukan bachelor accountancy. They are usually professionally qualified. They have a professional qualification. So you have to communicate these matters to them. Okay, dia kata the professional accountant or firm shall determine having regards to the nature and importance of the particular circumstances and matters you to be communicated. So you need to communicate the entity's governance structure with whom to communicate. If the professional accountant or firm communicate with subgroup of those charged with governance, for example audit committee is subgroup. Okay, so you need to communicate to them so that they are informed. Kenapa? Ada tak kes auditor being sued kat Malaysia ni? Tak buat kerja ni, tak inform ada management, jumpa fraud. Yes or no? Cepat ni. Ni nak belanja ni, nak belanja makan. Breakfast. Berapa meh selalu bagi? Tok Wei selalu berapa bagi? Puan selalu bagi berapa? Banyak RM5 Ini Puan Syam bagi sikit lah. Ini Puan Syam belanja nasi lemak je RM3. Okay. Now, is there any situation whereby an auditor being sued on the governance issues or auditor fail to comply with their duties and obligations? Ada tak auditor being sued kat Malaysia ni? Tok Wei and Partners, Akmal and Partners, any comment on this statement? Is there any auditors being sued so far as of today? Yes or no? Cepatlah, Tok Wei and Partners ada ke tak ada, Tok Wei? Tak ada. Akmal? Akmal ada tak? Rasa-rasa ada auditor being sued? Oh, bagusnya. Ada. Auditor pernah disaman tapi tidak masuk court. We settle out of court. Sweep under the carpet.
Masa dia tak terfikir dengan management yang
Because the issue is that
prior to company.
They sue us because they kata we fail to inform them about it doesn't matter whether third party ke, third party maknanya bankers ke ataupun klien. Klien memang boleh sue kita. Memang boleh sue kita sebab kita ada relationship dengan dia. Auditor dengan klien ada relationship sebab ada letter of engagement. Kita dengan shareholder, auditor dengan shareholder pun shareholder boleh sue. Memang kalau dua parti ni, shareholders dengan klien saman kita, memang dia menang. Tak payah tanya. Kenapa? Sebab ada formal relationship. Sebab kita appointed by shareholders. So we are obliged to present our report to them. What about the third parties? So these two parties can sue us. What about other parties? Yang ada parties tu is third parties. Third party pun can sue kita. Siapa third party? Bankers, customer. So can this group of people sue us? Yang third party ni can be questioned sama dia boleh menang atau tak menang. So sekarang ni if we fail to inform, kita sekarang ni talk about those charge in governance kan. So if we fail to inform these people, they can sue us. Sebab there is dalam bylaw, there is in standard for us to inform any discrepancies, any weaknesses in the client to those charge in governance. Maknanya wajib, bukan harus, bukan sunat. Okay? Betul tak? So maknanya kita beritahu. Jadi kalau kita tak beritahu, dia can sue. So my question just now is there any situation whereby auditor being sued? The answer is yes. Setakat ni kita tahu ada satu story je. Ni maknanya tak baca paper. Silverbird saman auditor and internal auditor. Silverbird yang buat OT apa? Hi-Fi. Saman auditor because dia kata dia bukan sama auditor, external auditor, dia sama internal dengan external sekali. So dia saman dua-dua parti ni sebab dia tak setuju dengan financial statement dia, issue loss je. Tu Silverbird. Tapi sampai sekarang isu tu tak bawa ke mahkamah. I don't know what is the next step. It is already 4 years, for 5 years already. Okay, that is Silverbird. But other cases, third party ataupun klien saman auditor ada. I tanya Cik Nik Haisuddin. Cik Nik Haisuddin highlighted, dia kata tak boleh cerita sebab benda tu settle out of court. Maknanya tak noted. Faham? Kenapa auditor settle out of court? Issue dia because dia tak nak nama dia bad image. So dia settle out of court. Understand? Okay? Satu. Nanti kita akan masuk legal liability lepas topik ni. Kenapa dia buat benda macam tu? Okay? So ada ya. Ada kat Malaysia. Cuma US memang ada. Macam kita tengok Arthur Anderson being sued by Enronnya employees kan? Enron and Arthur. Arthur kan dah jadi apa? Dah masuk kubur. Tak ada batu nisan. Arthur Anderson is a big organisation, a big firm a big audit firm. Can mati macam tu je. Why? Having close relationship with CFO, with the management. Dia communicate tapi dia buat false information of the financial statement of Enron. So sekarang ni CFO Enron, MD Enron, auditor yang audit Enron dalam jail kat US. Lepas tu Arthur terus masuk kubur. Batu nisan dia tak ada. Okay. Sebab tu tak ada Arthur. Dulu ada Arthur kan? Kenapa? Enron. Sekarang ni ada satu kes yang besar di US tapi tak decided. Deloitte been sued about, nanti masuk legal liability akan cerita. Deloitte been sued lah tapi kes tu dah lama. Dia orang tengah gather evidence. Kalau dia menang, Deloitte pun mungkin masuk kubur. Kubur tak ada batu nisan kan? Tak tahulah Deloitte tapi isu tu dah lama lah. Dia highlight about 7.6 billion USD kot. Mortgage company Deloitte. So we go. That's why kita dalam isu those charge in governance, it is very important for the auditors to communicate those matters. So to protect yourself. But you must document it. Kan betul tak masa you pergi practical at the end of the audit kau suruh dia sign management representation letter kan? Itu tak cukup. Itu is just acknowledging management representation letter tu penting ya. Acknowledging the responsibility of the management or the client that they have actually confirmed whatever oral evidence kan, kita pergi interview dia, tanya dia macam jadi management representation letter confirm apa oral evidence tu, mengesahkan betul-betul. Takat tu je. Tapi kita lupa kita kena communicate benda tu. Sebab tu kita kena communicate with these people so that they know. Okay? Take note on that. Okay, next. Okay, this part kalau you jumpa dalam notes, this one I just want to highlight to you. Benda ni yang I highlight to you ni, professional appointment ni semua pasal changes. Okay. I think this one baca je. Okay, I just go on professional appointment. Nanti kita go advertising, continue kemudian. Okay, we talk about professional appointment. Professional appointment, what do you mean by professional appointment here? Tak nak buka section tak best. Okay, we talk about professional appointment ada tiga part. Pertama, client acceptance. Number 2, engagement acceptance. Number 3, changes in professional appointment. So, bila kata professional appointment ni dia ada 3 ya. Client acceptance, kalau dibuka MIA by law. Sekejap, MIA by law. Kalau dibuka MIA by law, okay, if you open this MIA by law, you will see this one, professional appointment. Mana dia? Okay. You have 3 stages. Ni professional appointment. First, client acceptance, engagement acceptance and changes in professional appointment. So, bila apa yang dimaksudkan professional appointment ni? Pertama, maknanya bila you dilantik, apa akan berlaku? Pertama, we look into the perspective of client. Number 2, we look into the engagement, acceptance and lastly, if there is changes audited in the client. Okay. Kita go through the first part, client acceptance. Okay, client acceptance. Before accepting a new client relationship, a professional accountant in public practice shall determine whether acceptance would create any threats to compliance with fundamental principle. First, tapi biasanya korang buat ke? Tak. Janji klien dah offer kita job, ambil je. Kita tanya soalan ni pada EY, Datuk Rauf. Datuk Rauf is managing partner of EY, managing partner Southeast Asia for EY. Dia datang top, lepas tu dia buat klien dia, kita jemput juga klien dia, High-Tech Padu, Head of Finance CFIDU, High-Tech Padu. And kita tanya Datuk Rauf, adakah practice for this Big Four, EY practice issue looking into the nak accept klien tu, dia akan tengok integrity of management. Dia kata yes, memang dia akan tengok before kita accept any engagement, new engagement, nak ambil klien baru. Isu pertama yang kita kena tengok ialah managementnya integrity. Tapi small firm tak tengok pun. Kakak tengok tak? Akmal tengok ke? You janji dapat klien kan? Itu problemnya kita. In actual fact, before Akmal ataupun before Alif accept ataupun Sharifah accept any appointment from new client, first kali kena tengok management integrity. Macam mana management dia? I tanya Datuk Rauf, do you do that? Yes, student tanya dia macam-macam Datuk Rauf masa tu. I believe that's why I nak Datuk Faiz datang. Sebab your senior-senior semua dapat orang best-best. Datuk Rauf, Cik Nik Hasyuddin, yang previous batch yang best yang dapat CFO High-Tech Padu, internal auditor, partners EY, and then senior EY Datuk Rauf bawa one of your senior, dah kerja 5 tahun, dah jadi associate. Dah jadi associate, 5 tahun je associate. Bukan associate, manager. Associate tak ada benda, associate 2 tahun dah jadi. Senior dia seorang dah jadi associate kan. 5 tahun bekerja, dah jadi manager. So she came, masa tu memang ramai budak-budak yang tanya. Tapi yang paling hit ialah last semester. Cik Nik sampai I terpaksa stop the session. The student asked so many questions. So this semester I hope you make, kalau Datuk Faiz agreed to come, you make full use. Because my title for your talk is an update to our profession. Because EY UK tak ambil budak accounting graduate in the profession. So we need to have practitioners to give some talk on this issue. Okay, client acceptance. So maknanya isu dia, you have to determine whether you ambil klien. Katakan, siapa nama sebelah Sharifah ni? Husna. Husna katakan anak saudara I. Husna offer I jadi auditor company dia. Of course, in actual fact, I kena tengok the client acceptance. That will create a threat, isn't it? Because I have relationship. Tapi sebab oblige ambil, dah habis dah satu. Professional appointment fail. Objectivity fail. 2 isu kat situ. Okay, ambil Husna. Okay, so number 2, we talk about engagement acceptance. Okay, We talk about engagement acceptance, fundamental principle of professional competence, and you can impose a professional accountant in public practice to provide only those services that professional accountant in public is competence to perform. Keyword dalam engagement acceptance ni, you kena ambil job yang you boleh buat. Bukan ambil mana-mana you suka. Okay, you are katakan Sharifah is expert ataupun familiarized with trading and trading businesses. You memang buat audit trading. Lepas tu you tak pernah audit ONG. Ambil ONG. Oil and gas. So, you cannot take kalau you tak ada specialization kat situ. Because bila nak audit ONG, kita kena ada expert. We don't have that ada expert. Faham? So you must first tadi we must consider threat. I ambil Husna nak saudara I ambil company dia sebagai client I. Fail dah client appointment kat situ. Client acceptance. Number 2, we talk about engagement acceptance, maknanya kita must be competent. Number 3, kita talk about changes in professional appointment. Changes in professional appointment ni panjang cerita dia. Apa jadi bila you nak berhentikan auditor lama dan lantik auditor baru? Okey. Boleh ke tendang auditor suka hati? Can we just kick out? I don't want you, get out. Can we do that? No. Auditors been appointed by the shareholders. Okay, auditors been appointed by the shareholders during AGM. So, dia punya resignation ataupun dia punya removal boleh dibuat. Tapi, shareholders yang boleh buat. Jadi, kalau you nak buat juga, you have to follow certain requirements. And you sebagai ni auditor nak sangat. Itu removal tu you dah belajar. Now, I'm asking you about kita nak lantik auditor baru. Kita tak nak yang lama ni. Apa patut kita buat? Sebagai auditor baru, bolehkah kita terima jawatan tu begitu sahaja? No. First. Last semester dah keluar dah topik ni. Solid question dalam exam. So, this semester tak keluar lah puan. I can test you dalam test. Dalam test boleh. Last semester soalan tu tanya bagi pihak auditor lama dan bagi pihak auditor baru. Tak ramai yang dapat full mark sebab situation tu banyak kena discuss kan. Okay, first thing dia kata new auditors required to communicate with the existing auditor for the purpose. Okay, once you got the appointment, katakan Husna nak jadi auditor baru I. You auditor lama I. Siapa nama you? Afrina is auditor lama. So Afrina and partners is my previous auditor. Husna and associate is my new auditor. Can she accept? No, she cannot accept. So, new auditor, Husna need to communicate with existing auditor, Afrina. Okay, then she must obtain information. Dia nak communicate pun kena consent from client. Mesti ada consent from client. Lepas tu, my student tanya, boleh ke communicate without consent from client? No. Tak boleh communicate. You pun nak kasi information kat dia, consent from client. Both party, new auditor dengan auditor lama kena dapat consent from client. Kalau client tak bagi information, maknanya tak adalah tukar auditor. Kita tak boleh go ahead seterusnya. Stop at that stage. I ulang. Kalau kita nak tukar auditor baru, okay, Husna dengan Afina kan? Okay, Husna dengan Afina. Husna is previous auditor. Afina previous auditor. Husna is new auditor. So, katakan bila nak tukar new auditor ni, kita kena dapat, new auditor ni kena communicate dengan previous auditor. Bukan boleh communicate macam tu saja. Dia kena dapat consent from client. And dia pula, existing auditor sekarang ni, yang auditor lama, nak bagi information pasal client pun, kena consent from client. In both parties. Kalau tak dapat permission granted, tak boleh proceed. Tak boleh lah. Stay oleh lama lah.
Tapi kalau klien nak tukar juga,
dia kena kasih konsen lah. Kalau klien nak tukar, mesti dia kasih konsen. Lepas tu okey, the question that student selalu tanya, puan, previous auditor tu tak nak communicate. Salah. We can report you to MIA. Faham? Ini by law tu, by law ni. Undang-undang kita. Kita accountant is a professional, we are professionals and we are regulated by MIA. If we fail to comply with the bylaw, Husna can report the case to MIA. Habis dah kita. License kita tarik. Langsung tak payah. Makan pergi sini. Tak lagi sini. Begini je. Okay. Okay. Ada soalan. Siapa yang belakang kawan Amir yang belakang ni? Siapa? Hamzalah. Jadi faham Hamzalah? Maknanya tak boleh tukar suka-suka. I tak suka auditor ni, boring lah. Dia tak ikut apa I cakap. Tak boleh. So, likewise, klien memang kena bagi permission. Okay, to know kenapa kita nak communicate dengan auditor yang ada sekarang ni. To obtain information about client. To know the professional reason why dia nak bertukar. Okay. And then when permission granted, you should reply in writing whether there are reason why the new auditor should not accept appointment. Ini bahasa terbalik. Sebenarnya kita nak auditor beritahu dia kenapa kita boleh terima ke tak. So jawapannya sebenarnya dia punya notes kat situ kena kata when permission granted, existing auditor kena beritahu whether patut terima ke tak terima. Kadang-kadang isu dia sebab dia ada disagreement tau. Existing auditor tak setuju dengan certain accounting treatment with the client, so dia nak tukar. Jadi it's up to you lah nak terima. Biasanya kalau ada isu macam tu, kita mungkin accept atau mungkin kita tak accept. Biasanya kita tak accept sebab dia ada disagreement. Maknanya dah ada history yang tak best. Understand? Okay, faham kat situ? I stop until to that topic sebab it's quite very heavy bab ni, ada banyak isu. Okay, any question? You have any question? Ada soalan tak? Tak ada. Okay, thank you.